All right, everybody. Special guest on this day that we are actually recording this, which is Mother's Day. And why wouldn't we have these guys on? It's the Seminole band from Olympia. Huge following, these guys. Got a big following. A lot of people digging their sound. They're also the house band on KJR. I'm talking about Mom's Rocket. We have Tom, Randy, and Jason in the cave today. How you guys doing?
Good.
Great. Fantastic.
Good. It's good to have you guys on the show. And tell us about Mom's Rocket. How did you guys get together, and how long you been rocking the I-5 corridor?
Who wants to go on that one?
I got nothing. Better be Randy.
Well, you know, we, the guitar player Jason Celestine and myself just started jamming together. We actually played with another drummer down in Olympia one day, and they were trying me out as a vocalist, and things didn't click really well together, but me and Jason kind of looked at each other and said, hey, you know, we could do some stuff here. We could write some great songs. So we started kind of getting that click rolling, and then we brought in Jeff Meschke was our original drummer, who came down and started tapping for us, and then we got a hold of Randy. We were like, well, we need a bass player. What's Randy doing? Because that was Jason's old bass player from the band Cypress, which has a pretty big history here in the Northwest.
Absolutely.
And Jason says, well, he's playing bass in the church band. And I'm like, well, we've got to put a stop to that.
Time to corrupt that boy again.
So yeah, we brought him down, and we started doing what was like kind of an acoustic thing at first.
So what year or how long ago are we talking on this?
About 4.5 years ago.
2005,
Yeah. And
they said, don't worry, man. We don't know any songs. All acoustic. You know, it's boys' night out, man. Just show up on Tuesdays. That's it.
And little did you know.
They had a plan.
Yeah, I think they did have a plan. Well, a lot of big things have happened for you guys since then. Tell us about the whole KJR thing. How'd you become the house band for KJR? I look at your MySpace page, and you guys are all over with pictures of you and Holmgren, and you got some of the Seahawks in there, and you guys Graz and Gas, and all those guys down at KJR. How'd that whole thing come about?
Well, I listen to sports radio. I'm kind of a sports nut. And I just heard there was a contest, and we had entered it once before. And so when I mentioned it to the guys, they're like, yeah, forget that. So I entered this anyway. So I just said, what the heck, I'll send it up there. And it's like, hey, guys, we did get selected to do the playoff thing. And I'm like, okay. So we went up there and played. And the funny thing was right before we were supposed to load our gear on stage, I locked the keys in the van.
And all the gear.
And all the gear.
So you did it. So did you go up and do an a cappella set? Is that how it worked?
So it's hey guys, we got to load in. So I smashed the window out of the van.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow, that's a great story. All right, well, let's listen to a little bit of Mom's Rocket. This is a song titled "Fists Full of Love."
Have a way I don't breathe today, and a new life begins. Yeah, a new life begins for me. With a handful of empty, a fistful of love.
All right, Fistful of Love is the name of the song. Our guest today, of course, Mom's Rocket. And I noticed you guys were just on, what was it, the Bob Rivers show. How'd that go for you?
Oh, that was a blast.
Yeah, was that like almost a dream come true to get on there and get to rock out on the big radio station?
Yeah. It was a dream come true and a nerve-wracking nightmare all meshed into one.
I don't think I've ever seen him so fucking nervous ever. I mean,
my
he was
God.
just a wreck.
And how did that come about? Did you submit a CD to the Rivers show, or
Just Jason did it.
Well, I listen to them every morning. They're my heroin. So every morning I listened, and they were, they always talked about having bands on there. I'm like, man, we got to get on there. So Tom and I actually went up, and we were just backstage pass guests, just kind of hung out. And the cool thing that day, Jeff Tate was in the studio.
Nice.
So that's one of Tom's most favorite
man.
singers.
Yeah, was that a great moment?
Oh my God, yeah. I felt like a 15-year-old again.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
He's got his back to us, and I'm looking at Jason. I go, that's him. He's right there in the next room.
Yeah, he had a wet stain in his shorts that day. But, so the cool thing was, because we've been interacting with them quite a bit, and I always send them text messages, on their deal, saying, hey, how about the Mom's Rocket disc, and kind of got things going that way. And so we went up there, and they wanted us to switch days, and said, well, we could probably get you guys to come play live if you can switch days. Well, we couldn't do that, and then apparently they played a bunch of music one day, 5 different bands, and Bob actually said, yeah, I like these guys, I like those guys, and we were one they liked. And Luciana said, yeah, well, 2 of those guys have already been here, backstage past guests, and so they invited us to come up and play, and yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a great time.
They treated us like rock stars, and then they opened the studio doors and says, okay, you got 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And we had to scurry in, plug in, and and they're
Do
like,
your thing.
Away we
okay,
go.
you're live. Oh,
Yeah.
be quiet, we're on the air.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And was there like a sound? I've heard
No.
there's no sound check.
No.
It's like
No.
plug in,
yeah, no, it was-
go,
Yeah,
and out.
It was,
Yeah.
And the nerve-wracking part was it was all taking place at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So now here you are having to belt out hard rock tunes, an hour and a half after you woke up. I'm out in their studio yelling and screaming. All these people are looking at me like I'm some kind of freak, It was, it was crazy. It was a good time, though. Those guys treated us like gold. They were really class act.
That's good.
Yeah.
Joe?
Great. Hey, I want to ask you guys, you've got a very creative, innovative name, and I'd probably have to explain it to my mom. And I was wondering if that's a little bit of a nod to Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was my guess. I was wondering if that there was a little bit of that going on. All right. Well, I wanted to ask you guys about your fans. You guys on Facebook, I noticed that you guys have some rabid fans, and you it seems like, in the time that you guys have been playing, you've gathered quite a throng that supports you. Do you guys feel that from them? Is that something you guys feed off of? Did you guys like try to gather that in, or is that just something that took off on its own thing?
We've worked pretty hard to get a following, but at the same time, it just sort of happened.
Right. I'd say almost the less we try, the more cool stuff happens to us. In a weird kind of way.
That's not bad.
No, that's a
Yeah.
good thing. That's a good thing.
I mean, my computer went down one time. I was kind of the computer jockey before, and so I was without a computer for a couple weeks. And in that time period, we got all this cool stuff going on, and all these. It was like, wow, I guess
Let's
I don't-
break that thing again. Give me a rock.
You guys have a favorite venue to play? What's a favorite place for you
I'd
guys to
say
play?
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
You
Yeah.
guys like the
Yeah.
crowd down there? It's good to you.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I like the Camel Toe personally.
Camel Toe.
That was a
cool.
great club.
That's a new
yeah.
place out there in Spanaway.
Yeah.
140th. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Great
That was
sound
the
system.
place where we rolled up. I get out of the car. The parking lot's just packed, and I'm standing outside BSing with some of my friends, and I look over, and there's this kid getting the shit kicked out of him by the security people, and I'm looking around at all my buddies. I'm like, hey, this is our kind of place, man. This is going to be pretty cool.
Did it look like Wonder Boy over there? It could have been. I think it was him. All right, let's go into another song by Mom's Rocket. This is titled Broken.
Come close to me again.
Why Broken is the name of the song, and of course, Mom's Rockets in the house with us. Now, you guys have a fairly new CD out. Is that correct? Came out
Halloween.
Yeah, on Halloween night. And
Yep.
what's the name of that CD?
V2.
V2. And you know the artwork on there. I'm really digging that. You guys have a really cool package around your band. The artwork and just the whole vibe and stuff. Who's doing the artwork on the CDs and stuff for you?
The last CD was done by Mike Savoya, who's also the photographer for KISW.
I think so, and he's done some Alice in Chains
He does
stuff.
this Alice in Chains. The guy is just phenomenal.